Okay then, let's see. I think we will start the webinar. So good morning everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Today's webinar is with Ponant Expedition Cruises. Ponant is a French company who've been in operation for over 35 years, and I'm joined today by Nabil Maillard, who is the Business Development Manager for the UK, and also Alastair Newton, who is a Fellow of the Royal Geographical Society and the Director of the National Geographic Partnership for Ponant. So we're really privileged to have both of them joining us today, so thank you so much for joining us. Before we start, just a little bit about Panache Cruises. We started last year. We are specialists in expedition, yacht style and luxury ocean and river cruising. We're a small company. We have a team of cruise connoisseurs, so everybody within the business is able to take your queries and turn them into your personal holidays as well. So we have a partnership and a trust account so that any bookings you make, your money is 100% protected as well. We have a nothing is too much trouble policy as well. So if you have wedding anniversaries or you have a special occasion that you want to celebrate, just let us know and we'll make sure that everything is perfectly matched to your requirements as well. The business was started last year by James Cole, who's a cruise industry veteran. So you're in very safe hands when you travel and book with Panache Cruises. What I'm going to do now is hand you over to Nabil, who's going to give you an introduction to Ponant, and then he will introduce Alastair to you as well. Over to you, Nabil.
Thank you, Amy, and good morning, everyone. I'm really happy to have this opportunity to introduce Ponant to everyone today with Alastair. So let's dive in. So Alastair Newton, as introduced, Director of National Geographic Partnership for Ponant, and myself, UK Manager for Ponant. Just a quick nutshell on a quick point here on that slide. So first of all, you do recognize the place where we are. Our ships are really small, boutique size, and we have two categories of cruises. One is yachting cruises, and the other one is expedition cruises. The only difference will be that in the expedition, the excursions will be included. So that's about this slide. So on the next slide, you will see a nice, beautiful French flag. So this is just to tell you that we are the only French cruise line in the world, and we are also following the French security level and as well respect of the nature. It's the highest standard in the world. Ponant is part of the Artemis Group. And just to give you a few examples of the brands we have as sister brands, we have Gucci, we have Yves Saint Laurent, Boucheron, and Christie's, for instance. On the next slide, you will see just a quick point on how inclusive is Ponant. It's pretty much all inclusive with all meals on board, open bar policy, taxis will be included, the sauna, 24-hour room service, butler in suites, shore excursions when it's expeditions. This is the main topic of today with Alastair, and also unlimited Wi-Fi that is working really well. I've been myself to Antarctica and I was able to do some video with my parents, for instance. The next slide is just about the ships, to tell you that we have the youngest expedition fleet afloat. We started with our beautiful three-masted yacht called Le Ponant about 32 years ago, followed by 4 sister ships. The first one is called Le Boréal in 2010, followed by l'Austral, le Lyrial, and Le Soleal and le Lyrial. The next ones are the Explorer series, with only getting smaller, with only 92 cabins and suites, 100% balcony, with le La Pérouse, le Champlain, le Bougainville, le Dumont d'Urville, le Vélo, and le Jacques Cartier to finish. The last one that joined literally a couple of weeks ago, our fleet, is Le Commandant Charcot, but I know that Alastair will detail a little bit more after this. So that's about the fleet. And on the next slide, it's Alastair. So Alastair, he's been to the University of Alaska, doing a lot of study and work around wildlife biology. He has been an expedition leader for quite a long time, and he led over 200 expedition cruises, getting, how lucky he is, to nearly 100 countries. So he will share some of his experiences with us. Currently, he is the Ponant director of National Geographic Partnership, and he will as well introduce you this partnership today. He is also a fellow member of the Royal Geographical Society. You have to be nominated by someone who is already a fellow member of the Royal Geographic Society, and this has to be supported by 2 other fellow members to become yourself a member. So we have someone quite experienced, and I will hand over to you, Alastair, now.
Thank you very much, Nabil, and thank you to Amy as well. And so today I want to talk about a couple of different topics, expeditions, and also about Ponant's partnership with National Geographic. And to start off actually first with National Geographic itself, we are very excited at Ponant to be the partners with National Geographic for expedition cruising globally. And we were actually approached directly by National Geographic. So National Geographic, as many of you know, the magazine and media company, but what you may not know is National Geographic goes back 130 years. And the society was founded for exploration and scientific discovery all around the world. That's their original purpose, and to bring the stories of that discovery to the people. And so they've slowly expanded into the magazine and then into travel as well. And they wanted to further expand into expedition cruising. And so they were looking for a partner that aligned with them on many of their core principles. And Ponant was the company that was identified to be having the best alignment with National Geographic. And that's particularly around our focus on exploration, our focus on sustainability, enrichment and pioneering destinations as well. And so it's a fantastic partnership that works very well together around our common values. And so when you're traveling with National Geographic and with Ponant, it's all about traveling with purpose. It's not just a holiday, but it's learning about the destinations to which you're visiting, and also working with communities locally, and then also working with the society. And so as part of that, on every voyage with National Geographic that's done, a part of the cruise fare actually goes back to the society to fund future expeditions for science and exploration as well. And of course, National Geographic have been right at the forefront of talking about sustainability and the importance of it in the world today and into the future. And we're actually also one of the leaders in sustainability in the world, particularly in cruise. We're actually identified as the leader in sustainable cruising. And so, again, we're really thrilled to be working with National Geographic around sustainability on our voyages as well. Now, what does it make? What difference does it make to all of you when you're traveling on a National Geographic product? Well, one of the really exciting aspects is that on every cruise we have a National Geographic photographer. And so the National Geographic photographers are the preeminent storytellers, visual storytellers in the world today. And they tell these remarkable, remarkable stories. I've had the opportunity to travel with a number of these photographers highlighted here. Sissy Brimberg, for example, she lives in Glasgow. And she talks about going to lunch with people like Gorbachev when on assignment for National Geographic. So they're on board not to take their own photos, but to talk about their work, to talk about their incredible experiences, but also to give photo instruction. So they'll be doing lectures, workshops, one-on-ones, photo walks ashore. They're really 24 hours a day. They're just thrilled to find people who love photography. And it doesn't matter if you've just got an iPhone. It's more about capturing the story of your journey and becoming a visual storyteller yourself. So a wonderful opportunity to learn from the very best. Additionally, on these expeditions, we have what are called National Geographic experts. So these are really world leaders in their field. And so they're there not only to talk about their field, but also the wider perspective. So this is the travel with purpose. This is learning about what your particular journey and expedition means and how that fits into the bigger issues facing the world today. A couple of people to highlight here. Em Jackson, she's one of the leading glaciologists in the world. And Valerie Craig is actually the chief scientist for the National Geographic Society, so has a really great oversight of all the projects that National Geographic is doing. So brings a huge amount of wealth of information to the expedition. So for those of you who haven't been on expedition before, what is this about? How's it a bit different from your sort of classic cruising, and what sort of things do you get up to? And what does it mean to be on expedition with Ponant? So Ponant, as Nabil mentioned, we are a French company, and we've got over 30 years experience in the polar regions. It's an area that we're very passionate about. And as he mentioned, we've got the youngest, and we've actually got the largest fleet of expedition ships of any company. All of our ships are at least Ice Class 1C. So this is actually very, very strong. So this means our ships are very capable. And you can see one of our vessels, the L'Irial, in the ice in this picture. So really safe in the polar regions. Now, we're really excited that, as Nabil mentioned, we've just had joining the fleet the world's most advanced and capable polar exploration vessel, Le Commandant Sharpe. And she is actually PC2. So what that means is she is massively stronger than almost any other ship, not just expedition ships, but actually even in the world of research vessels. She is one of the strongest ships in the world today. And this means she'll be capable of sailing all the way to the geographical North Pole, and doing so in a sustainable way as well. She's right at the forefront of sustainability. I mentioned that we've been assessed by Nabu, a German NGO, as having the most sustainable fleet in the world. That's something that's right at the core of our passion. And of course, on expedition, it's all about Zodiacs, it's all about excursions, it's all about the naturalist team as well, bringing the journey to life. So this is all about interacting with the world around you and bringing those experiences to life. So you're not just cocooned on board the vessel, but you're really interacting with the natural world and the communities that you visit. On all of our polar expeditions, we have, of course, parkas. We've got things like binoculars available as well. On our polar itineraries, we actually limit the number of guests on board to make sure we have manageable numbers, so only 100 suites down in Antarctica. And we have great interaction all the way through the ship. So, for example, we have open bridge, so you can come and meet the captain up on the bridge, the navigational officers, and learn how the ship is being navigated through the polar regions as well, which is really, really quite fascinating. Now, some of the things that I think really makes Ponant quite different as well is, I'd say, it's really expeditions done in style. I've been very fortunate to have been on many, many expeditions with a wide variety of companies as well. And really, working with a French company, we bring that wonderful French style throughout our expedition. So it's really a boutique hotel experience. I always liken it to staying in one of those sort of beautiful Parisian boutique hotels, and bringing that French touch to the fore. So, of course, the French are famed for their cuisine and for their wine. And so one of the things we're really proud of at Ponant is we work with Alain Ducasse. Now, if you don't know Alain Ducasse, he runs, for example, the restaurant at the Dorchester with 3 Michelin stars. He's actually held 21 Michelin stars, the second highest number of any chef in the world. And it's he who heads up our culinary experience on board our vessels. All of our chefs train with his team. So you can imagine the food on board is just fantastic. And the wines that accompany it as well, all included, absolutely delightful. So you get the very best of traveling with a French company there. But we also have things like open seating at the dining table, 24-hour room service and bar. And of course, we have pre and post expedition packages that can be added, as well as transfers and flights. And some flights are actually included depending on the itinerary as well. But on expedition, flexibility is what it's absolutely all about. So every itinerary is unique. Every day is a unique day, just dependent on what the world throws at us and how we adapt to it. And then we also have some optional activities like kayaking as well, a great way to interact with the world. Now, you're actually the very first people in the world to see these images. So that top image I've just received about 20 minutes ago, just before this presentation started. This was taken this morning, northeast of Greenland. So this is Le Commandant Sharpe. She's currently on trials. She's just come out of the shipyard. And so we're currently running her up in the ice, in the proximity of the ice, testing her out before she takes her first guests on board. So this is brand new, and as I said, the world's most advanced and capable expedition ship in the world. We're very, very proud of her, and we're really looking forward to some extraordinary itineraries on her, both to the Arctic, all the way up to the North Pole, and down in Antarctica as well. But I just thought this demonstrates our passion for polar expeditions, to have actually gone ahead and built such an extraordinary vessel as well. So you'll be seeing a lot more about her in the near future, I am sure. So just a few images from when we're out on expedition. So as I mentioned, getting up into the bridge itself, meeting with the captains, talking with all the crew. It's a very interactive experience, a great opportunity to be very engaged. And as I said, about that flexibility. So the captain every morning will be looking at the weather and looking at the charts with the expedition leader and basically planning the very best experience for the day that is possible. Now, Zodiacs are absolutely the heart of the expedition industry. These are actually a French design, designed for the French military. They're fantastic inflatable boats, and we use these the world over to give us access to the small places, the remote places. So we can have these incredible experiences. So it may be heading out by Zodiac for a Zodiac cruise to search along the coastline looking for wildlife, or making landings in remote locations like Antarctica. And these images are actually taken by Nabil, and on his expedition, on a National Geographic expedition down to Antarctica last year. So Nabil, do you want to just mention a little bit what that was like for you?
Yes. So first of all, Antarctica is just, I have no words to describe it. It's amazing. And how easy it was to get to those Zodiacs, how easy it was to do the landing. You know, I'm quite young, so I can think, yes, okay, it's easy to get in and get out. But actually, also other guests, a bit more older guests, 80 years old up to 85 years old, they were really, really getting into those Zodiacs easily with that flat platform at the back of the ship, and getting back to the Zodiacs and disembarking for the hikes. So it was literally really easy to do it, and you can feel that Ponant has been created for expeditions from the right beginning. So everything is made for this, and I'm sure you would agree with that, with your experience, Alastair.
Yes, absolutely. And all of those little design touches to the ships really make a difference, a very big difference when delivering expedition, because with expedition, the weather always plays a key part in it. So those fine touches of design, as Nabil mentioned, the platform at the back of the ship, and on our Explorer fleet, we actually have a folding marina deck as well, and they just give us an enhanced ability to get our Zodiacs out and start exploring the world around us. So as we head ashore on expedition, again, these are from Antarctica, but we do this up in the Arctic. We do this actually in the tropical regions around the world as well. Getting into these remote locations with a team of expert naturalists, and also, of course, in charge of safety ashore. So whether it's leading hikes, in these images here from Nabil, you've got visiting the penguin colonies as well, but just absolutely remarkable experiences when you're out on expedition. And I think I've got a nice image from Nabil here of a key moment from his. Nabil, do you just want to mention about your kayaking here?
Yes. So here it was definitely, I think, the highlight of my trip. It was basically, I think we were supposed to stay 30 minutes doing kayaking, and at the end we did like an hour and a half or something like this. At some point, the Ponant crew came next to us on the Zodiac and gave to us those 2 cups of champagne. It wasn't like planned. We were like, wow, what's going on? We were already kayaking in Antarctica, and on top of this, now we received those cup of champagne. And you know, like, it just brought the whole experience to the next level. And having that chance to do also kayaking in Antarctica was such an amazing experience, because it was National Geographic. We didn't have to pay any extra, and pretty much everyone got the chance to do it. We just had to be on the waiting list, but at the end of the day, everyone who wanted to do this been there. So it was really a fabulous moment, and this is what we like to call in Ponant a Ponant moment. We tried to do it once or several times per cruise, and that was really well made.
And then as we continue on, as I mentioned about National Geographic photographers, photography is going to be right at the heart of a National Geographic expedition. And so getting a chance to go ashore, have photo walks led by the National Geographic photographer. Here we've got our photographer giving tips on photography while out and about on a shore. So again, it's very, very interactive, whether it's with our team of naturalists, our crew on board, or our National Geographic team as well.
Yeah. And Alastair, here, just to jump on what you just said, here it's a National Geographic photographer. It's not, they are well-known photographers. Here it's Jason Edwards. So he's been doing photography for ages, and he's been doing some front cover of National Geographic magazine, I think 5 times, if not more. So here we are really talking about someone who is among the world well-known experts among his field, and we were able to speak with him. I actually dined with him and his family. We had one-to-one interaction with him, as well as classes with more people. It could have been some tactical aspects, or just how do you see things, how you should think about creating your own story. So it's way more than just a technical aspect, and it was for beginners like me up to advanced people who got like $1,000 camera. Everyone was really, really amazed with that work.
Fantastic. Actually, I had an email from Jason just this morning, and he's just mentioning he's very excited to get back on some of our expeditions. He's based in Australia, so he's a little bit limited at the moment by their COVID restrictions. But yeah, he just wanted to highlight that he was looking forward to getting back on our ships. So yes, quite coincidental that he dropped me a message this morning. And just to say as well, of course, so this is the incredible expedition experience off the ship. But as I mentioned, traveling in wonderful comfort with this fantastic French style, I just wanted to show some images from inside the ships. Now, when I started in the industry, it was working on sort of converted research vessels. I worked on an old Swedish icebreaker, for example, that were incredibly basic, fantastic vessels, but really, really basic. Well, things have moved on a lot. So hopefully you'll enjoy these images from our Explorer fleet, so inside the beautiful bar, and heading into the lounge as well. These just beautiful, beautiful vistas. And these are great places to spend time during the day on board the ship. These great vistas, expedition teams sort of tend to hang out up in the lounges, so you can have a nice chat about different topics throughout the day when you're underway, for example. And of course, our restaurant is a favored place throughout our itineraries as well. On board all of our ships, we do have multiple places to dine as well. So we have a slightly more formal main restaurant, and then a more casual bistro restaurant as well. So it enables you, if you want to have a shorter meal, a faster meal, you can do that, or you can sit down in the main restaurant for a slightly more formal, sort of more prolonged meal. But both of them, again, are open seating as well. But as mentioned, these ships are just absolutely beautiful. This next one is actually my favorite image. I think that's the best looking sauna I've seen anywhere in the world, and just a fantastic view through that sort of organic shaped window. And then the suites on board as well are just absolutely beautiful spaces. And so really, really comfortable, really modern and up to date as well. And so they just give you, when you're out on expedition, it's actually very, very tiring throughout the day, because there's a lot going on. And so it's great to be able to have a really comfortable space that you can just retreat to, put your feet up, and maybe read a book, watch a documentary on the television system, something like that, and then recharge your batteries so you can head out for that next activity that you'll be out and about, maybe on shore or on the Zodiacs. So I'm going to hand back over to Nabil. So thank you very much. And Nabil's going to talk a little bit about our commercial policies.
Yes, thank you, Alastair, for your points, added value here. Just to back up what you just said about how tiring an expedition cruise can be, I must say that I was really happy to have my tea, have my hot chocolate when I came back from onshore excursions. and have my comfortable bed with my also balcony, reading a book and so on. So you know, like comfort makes the whole difference in terms of the overall experience you will get. So let's get back to the commercial policy. Just starting with this, for the 2 upcoming weeks, Panache cruises will have 5% discount on any cruises you can find. So it can be expedition cruises, it can be as well yachting cruises, and it can be in Antarctica, or it can be from London if you want. So this is the best price you will find in the market, and it's valid for the 2 upcoming weeks. In terms of commercial policy, I won't get too much into detail, but just to let you know that we really have relaxed booking conditions, just to make it simple and safe for you to book with us. Obviously, with Panache Cruises on top, it's going to be really, really safe. So it's something we've been doing over the past few months, and it was well appreciated from all our guests and partners. On the next slide, you will see another point that is really currently important, health protocol. So we've been doing cruises, actually about 60 plus cruises in summer 2020. We've been the only cruise lines in the world who actually did more than 5 cruises in summer 2020, just because we've put in place a COVID safe protocol right at the beginning of the pandemic. We were the first cruise line in the world who did this. Afterwards, the other cruise lines get inspired by our health protocol. Here, what I'm saying is that it's already tested and proved protocol, and it has been reinforced since then. We already had last week 2 sailings starting from Iceland, one with 141 guests, and everything is going doing great. So Ponant is really taking care of this, and we know how important it is, especially now. On the next slide, you will basically see that it's the end. We are welcoming, if you have your questions. Alastair and I are still here, and I will hand over back to Amy on the next slide. Yes, thank you, everyone. We can't hear you, Amy.
Apologies, sorry, it was on mute, I beg your pardon. So we do have a couple of questions. The first one is from Andrew regarding the solo traveller policy. What kind of supplements can be expected? So perhaps Nabil, if you could answer that one for us.
Yes, of course. So thank you, Andrew, for your question. We are a really solo-friendly company. Currently, we have, I think I looked at our website yesterday, we had 139 cruises without any single supplement, 0%. And it's not going to be a cabin dedicated for solo travelers. It's going to be a normal cabin. So, so basically, it's really something important to us. And it's not only going to be just the short haul, but you can definitely find some cruises going to Antarctica without any single supplement as well. So it's really something important to us.
Perfect. And another question we've got regarding the downtime when you're on board. Obviously, you mentioned how busy it is during the day with Zodiac trips and the excursions and expeditions that are all included in the price. But what happens back on board the ship once you've returned from a day's activities, for example?
That's a great question, Amy. So there's a variety of different things that are going on board the ship. So, for example, our naturalist team and our National Geographic team, when they're on board, will be giving talks, workshops, lectures, all sorts of things. So there'll be a great opportunity to learn more about the place that you're visiting, and those will always be geared towards the destination and the experiences. So they might be learning more about penguin species in Antarctica, if that's where you are, or learning more about polar bears, or the local cultures when you're visiting in the more tropical regions. On top of that, there's often activities put on by our hotel team as well, and so more geared towards maybe learning more about the ship, or maybe, for example, I know the last one I was on, we had things like tango lessons as well. So there's always something fun, and it's not always focused entirely on the expedition. If you want to take a break from expedition and focus a little bit more on other aspects of being on board a beautiful ship, they have those experiences as well.
Great. And I know in terms of that you have the youngest fleet, but you also have some of the world's leading edge technology. I know you have an open bridge policy, but you also have something called the Blue Eye Lounge. Could you explain a little bit about what that is and how guests can access the Blue Eye Lounge?
Yeah, so the Blue Eye Lounge is on our Explorer fleet. So we have 6 ships that have the Blue Eye Lounge, and the Blue Eye Lounge is a remarkable underwater lounge. So it's below the water surface. It's got large windows that look out under the sea. Now, of course, it depends a little bit on the visibility where you are. These are perfect in the tropical regions where you have incredible visibility, but also in some of the colder waters as well. But then also built in, you have hydrophones. So they're actually listening to what's going on outside. So if we're having sort of whale encounters and things like that, those hydrophones actually play into the lounge. And because when you have whale song, for example, it's very low frequency, you can hear part of it, but some parts of it you actually can't hear. And so that sound is actually played through multi-sensory couches. So you can hear part of it with your ears, but you can feel the bits that you can't hear that are too low frequency. You can actually feel them through your body. We also have cameras on the bow area that play into that lounge as well. So you can see out the front of the ship as well. So when we've had dolphins alongside the ship, absolutely remarkable experience. Now, due to its location, we can't have this open all the time, just free fall, because it is below the water surface and depending on where we're operating. So we'll have designated times to open the lounge, to visit the lounge, and we'll always publicize that in the daily program.
Great. And just one last question that's come in terms of the experts that you have on board, how are they selected? Is it dependent on where their area of expertise might be? If you're a glaciologist, will you go to the Arctic more than you go to the Antarctica? How do you choose which expedition team will be on which voyage?
That's a great question. So on all of our voyages, the expedition team are chosen specifically for that itinerary. So, for example, the last trip I was on in Alaska, we had a specialist in Alaska Native culture and language, for example. So he's on that trip. He wouldn't obviously then be on a trip to Antarctica. We did have glaciologists because, of course, in both polar regions, you have fantastic glaciers. Then you have wildlife experts, marine biology experts, historians. So it really is tailor-picked for the itinerary. So we always have people who know the region through which we're traveling, but also bring a sort of balanced expertise. You wouldn't want 10 ornithologists on the same trip, because all you'd hear about would be the birds. So we always try and make sure it's a very broad spectrum of people as well, so you address all sorts of different interests.
And when you have the photographers on board, there's no charge for their one-to-one kind of personal tutoring. That's all included in your cruise experience.
Exactly right. That's all included. There's no charge, and it's absolutely fantastic. They're so passionate. Jason Edwards in particular is so passionate about the work that they do, and as I say, for them, it's not about just taking the photo. It's about how you tell a story, and I think that's what's really unique about getting to travel with them and learn from them.
Wow, thank you.
And Amy, I think I should add as well that we have 2 official languages on board, French and English. So everything will be in French as well as in English. The announcement, the conferences that Alastair told you about just earlier, we'll make sure to have Zodiacs only with English-speaking people, so we can speak only in English to make it easier. Or also French, who are happy to have it in English. So it doesn't has any difference in terms of experience if you don't speak any word of French.
Okay, great. And your guests come from all over the world, though, don't they? They're not just British clients. You have American, Australian, I guess a global client base.
We do, and to Nabil's point just now, 65% of our guests across the company come from English-speaking countries. So that's not something that should make people nervous at all. I work on board, and I'm afraid to say I don't speak any French at all. So, but I have led expeditions on board of vessels. But you're absolutely right. We have a global client base. They literally come from all over the world, which is fantastic. It's a great chance to meet people with very different perspectives as well. That's part of the joy on traveling on an expedition like this.
That's brilliant. Thank you. I mean, I think that, as you were saying earlier, the stories of discovery and people being able to actually immerse themselves in these incredible destinations, it's almost beyond bucket list stuff. This is the stuff of dreams that people have seen perhaps on the TV, but actually now with the opportunity, and also with your new vessel, Connoisseur, to be able to get to the North Pole on a boat. You used to be able to do that with a Russian icebreaker. I think that was the only other vessel to do it. So there's some really, really incredible itineraries that Ponant are putting together. And you very kindly, Nabil, as you said, you've given us an extra discount of 5% on any of the cruises for the next 2 weeks. And Panache Cruises will also be offering a Fortnum and Mason hamper for the next 2 weeks for any bookings made as well. And I think really it just leaves it to me to say thank you very, very much for your time, Alastair, and your time, Nabil. And for everyone that's watching, please, if you do have any more questions, or if you'd like to find out about any of the voyages that Ponant and National Geographic will be offering in the next few seasons, please do get in contact. Details are here on the screen, and we'd be delighted to help you. So thank you very much to both of you, and look forward to speaking to new customers soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, everyone, and look forward to seeing you on board.